welcome to the Organic Beehive. It is a little windy today, so bear with me. I hope that you can hear me just fine, but we are going to push on through. Today's video is all about the chicken coop. So I thought it would be fun to kind of go through and talk about some of the updates we made since the last video, which was about a year ago. We've just been refining and tweaking and, trying to make things work as efficiently as possible for us. And also, upgrades for the chickens that make them healthier. So we have had the chickens for a year now, which has been very exciting. And yes, we do remember that because we ordered these chickens from Murray McMurray Hatchery in November early on because I didn't want them to sell out. So I bought them early and they didn't get here till April. So we had a lot of anticipation with these chickens, and not to mention they were our first chickens ever. This is our first go around with the chicken coop. And even though we do live on a suburban lot, we're about probably on just under a third of an acre, if I'm not mistaken. A third to a fourth, I don't remember, but it's not very big, and we have still made this work. And I just want to kind of inspire you and motivate you that if you are on a suburban lot too, don't necessarily let that stop you, because from doing this now, we have found out next time around how we would do things differently, how we would have built it differently, because obviously we're not going to tear this down now. But when you live through, see the wind? When you start living the life with chickens, you start to realize what makes life easier, what makes things cleaner, etc. So I want to inspire you, hopefully, to start a homestead where you're at right now. It doesn't have to be a big scale, because you are going to learn those mistakes on a smaller scale. And I would rather do that because there's less of a financial risk with that than to get my dream property and, start my homestead once I get that land. Here, it's all learning opportunities that we can improve on. And so when we do get our dream property, if we do, we are prepared, we know what we're doing, we are informed, and we're not going to feel so overwhelmed. So I'm going to have to turn the camera around, and I am going to kind of show you inside the coop and all the different components to help you maybe if you are considering building a chicken coop and raising chickens on your own as well. Keep in mind, I am a stay-at-home mom and I homeschool, and also, homemaking is part of that. So I'm inside a lot as well. I've got the garden. I wear a lot of different hats in this house. So with that and my husband working 12 to 14 hour days, we're busy people. And so you're gonna see things that are unfinished. And I wanted to show that anyway. I did actually go back and forth, but I think a lot of the times bloggers and YouTubers only show things when they are absolutely perfect, and that's not real life. So yes, if you can see behind me, we didn't do the trim on everything just yet. It just hasn't been important to us in the moment. And I also want to put another disclaimer out there as well, that you're gonna see chicken coops on Pinterest, on Instagram, wherever, all over the internet, that are simply beautiful and pristine. And a lot of the times I look at those and think, Wow, their coop is so beautiful to look at day in and day out. Why can't I do that with mine? But here's the thing. There's that wind again. Oh my God. I get blown away. Guys, it's windy. I don't know. Can you see? Where's the tree back here? Woo! It is windy. All right, set this down again. I think we have a break. I just don't want you to compare yourself to those chicken coops all over, because they're showing it when it is just finished before chickens have been inside. If you've ever had chickens, you know they are messy, messy creatures. So again, I am showing you the real world, real life chicken coop. So without further ado, let's do a chicken coop / run tour, and I'm gonna share with you the good, the bad, and the ugly. So let's get to it. This is the farthest point in our backyard, so our house is behind the coop. So this is that point of view. As you can see, so this is the entrance to our chicken coop. We've got a window here. This is actually chicken coop, and this part is actually storage. So no chickens are in there. And as you can see, we have trim on the bottom right here. No trim anywhere else, because that's real life. Also, probably next year, as you can see, there's already tarp down right here to try and kill the grass, and I'm thinking of adding maybe some greens, doing a bunch of different lettuces and spinaches and whatever right there. So that is in the process, but I share with you what I did, or what I'm going to do here, in another video as well, and I'll put that in the cards. But this is the view to get in to the coop, and we're about to go through the door right now. Hi chickies. Okay, some things that are necessary in your chicken coop are definitely going to be roosting bars. So we have that, and some nesting boxes, and obviously food and water as well. So let's start with the nesting boxes. So these work. I like how they're at a slant. So supposedly when they lay, they kind of roll down. I don't know if they're not slanted enough. They don't always roll down, but that is the idea, and they do generally. But here's also what I'm going to say about nesting boxes. Even though you build it, they may not come. I'd say a majority of them like to just lay on the ground. They have a spot right there in the corner. Obviously, we already picked up the eggs. It used to be here where this water is. We covered it up, and well, they just changed spots. What we may do to upgrade this is take this board out here and put possibly like chicken wire or bird netting underneath, so that when we get chicks one day, they can see each other. You know, the chicks are in there rather than with the bigger chickens, because like we haven't experienced this yet, but when you start to transition new birds with the already developed flock, there can be some aggression going on, and we don't want any of that. So that is the first thing. Our nesting box, that is like a change that we might do. If we were to do this all over again and on our quote-unquote dream property, we would probably stack the nesting boxes rather than have it take up all this room, because it would just be more space for them to roost. That's what we would prefer. So we've got the nesting boxes, and then there's chicken wire that just separates the feed storage, gardening, whatever area from their coop. And I'm gonna go ahead and put a picture over the video here to show you what I would really like to do with this roosting box area. So I've seen where they have, like, I guess a poop deck underneath to catch all the poop, and you can clean it out really easily. That would be ideal, and that's something we might do one day, but for now, this is how it's functioning for us. All right, and here is the view going into the feed storage. So we've got the feed storage door here, and then this is the door to the run. Let's check out our feed storage. It's nothing fancy, but there is one component that we have really enjoyed. So right when you walk in, you have access to the nesting boxes in order to get the eggs. That's been nice. Like I said, sometimes they roll down, sometimes they don't. Remember, this is no frills too. So we got this rain barrel. I believe it's 55 gallons on Facebook Marketplace. And we did have a downspout. If you can see, I'm gonna try and close up. There's actually a hole here in the hardware cloth. The downspout came through here and into this rain barrel. But because that hardware cloth is so sharp, it just ripped the downspout we had for this just last week. So we need to get something a little bit more sturdier. But this rainwater barrel has been great. We have connected a pipe with some chicken waterers to it so that we have an automatic waterer for the chickens. It has been great, and we chose to put it inside so that it didn't have sun exposure, especially in the heat of summer. We didn't want to deal with mold, so that is really why it is here. And surprisingly, 55 gallons really fills up quickly here where we are. It rains quite a bit, so we do need to figure out how to, well, we need to figure out where the excess water goes, because it kind of just spills over the top, and then our floor just gets all wet and stuff, and we don't want to attract flies and all that, and we want to keep it as dry for the chickens as possible. So that's something we're gonna have to look into, but all in all, those are some quick fixes. We really love the rain barrel here. And I'll show you what it looks on the other side, and we'll head on into the run. All right, so we had feed storage here. The rain barrel is on this corner, and we're gonna go through the chicken run. We have this door latch. Sorry, let me focus. This door latch that you can, it latches and unlatches from both sides. Say hi to the chickens. All right. This is in the shade, so it's a little dark, but this is what I was talking about. We connected all this to the rain barrel, and so they have access to the water. These attachments, they're just what we happen to have, but I need to get some other attachments. They're like nipples. They're on my other waterer inside. Those are a lot better, because essentially they peck at it and the water comes out, instead of having like a pool of water here. You can imagine they're scratching, you get dust in here, it becomes a mess. So I have to go and clean these out every once in a while. But other than that, this system is great, and I would highly recommend this to anybody. Another thing that we have really liked having in our chicken run, and we've only had it for a couple months, would be these wood chips. We ordered them off of chipdrop.com, and it's one of those things where you don't know when they're gonna drop it off, and you don't know how much they're gonna drop off. You just know they're gonna drop it off and you need to be prepared. It was a lot. We got a truckload. It filled up our front yard. So yes, in a suburban community, it's not gonna be pretty, and I'm sure our neighbors didn't like it, but we did the best we could. It took us about a month to actually haul it all off. So a lot of it's here, and we've got some more wood chips. Oh, it's behind that trampoline. But we have so many uses for wood chips, so we did keep some, but we didn't eat all of it, and we just posted free wood chips on Facebook Marketplace. But it is kept, well, it keeps the chickens busy scratching, and it's just helped with the mud in this place. Like I said, we do get rain here, and it used to be just a muddy mess because they obviously scratched and ate all the grass that was already in here. So wood chips in your run is something I would definitely recommend. Another thing we have liked are these shutters. So let me adjust the lighting here and everything. Oh, it's windy. I don't even think I opened the shutter. So the shutters have been really nice. Something that we did not consider when building this coop was the fact that you have to winterize everything and also prepare it for summer. There's such extreme temperatures, and the shutters have been nice for like a day like today to be able to shut. We have a latch there, so I'll just latch it after this video. But it's not cold, it's upper 60s, so they're just fine. But the shutters have been nice, you know, to block out the wind on really cold days. And also in the summer it's nice just so they can have shade, but it's just a permanent solution to be able to help against the effects that the weather has around here. There's that wind again. Oh my goodness. So I highly recommend shutters, and I wish that we had a shutter on our door as well to help. And so that'll probably be something that we do in the near future. So let's see. Gosh, we need to do better roosting out here. That is our, I don't even know what it is. This is our dust bath area. See, we're blown out again. All right, so we have a shutter on this window. This is the dust bath, but they have scratched everything in here. Ideally, I would like to have a roof over here. I could probably do a makeshift cover, just a tarp over it, but honestly, I'm not gonna remember, you know, I'm not gonna always keep track of the weather to know if it's gonna rain or not. But this is it right now. Luckily, it's been pretty dry, and they've been able to hang out in the dust bath. This has been another great thing. We just built this out. I don't know, when was it? We built this probably about a month ago as well. This is our grazing box. We just used whatever we had on hand, basically. So it's just a frame, and then we stapled some chicken wire on top so that the chickens can't scratch through and destroy all our hard work of growing these beautiful greens for them. So they just will stand on the chicken wire, and they, I guess, essentially cut the grass here. but this is really good for their health, and this is what they're good at, foraging. In the past, we had just planted seeds right on the ground. We took care of that for 2 months, and within 2 days it was demolished. So this I would highly, highly recommend. And now I'm gonna zoom out, and hopefully I don't step on any chickens. They're all inside. They're probably thinking, what am I doing? But I've got a chicken door, not chicken door, just a run door here. Next time around, there goes the sun again. Next time around, if I were to do this all over again, we would probably put a door here as well. The reason being, you're gonna have sick chickens, hurt chickens, whatever, or even baby chicks. And you want the chickens, if they're separated, to still be able to see each other. But obviously you don't want the stronger chickens with the weaker chickens because of pecking order, right? Like, that's where the term comes from. They will tear up the weak ones, and we don't want that. And so we have had to separate chickens in the past. So we made like a makeshift screen like here, but then like to feed the chickens on the other side and all that, it was a mess. We had to like sneak through it. So ideally we would have the run door there, and we would have a run door here as well. And another thing, as far as like updates to the door, I think a Dutch door would be really nice. Sometimes I don't want to come in here, but I've got scraps of food that I need to feed them. You know, I don't want my shoes all nasty, whatever. So a Dutch door would be so nice to be able, sorry, can we just keep this lighting? A Dutch door would be ideal to just be able to open that top half and throw out scraps when we need it. And the last thing that we have really enjoyed has been, well, I shouldn't say enjoyed, I'd say something we're looking forward to is the garden bed around the run. So these, well, hopefully this flower bed will be blooming in a few months with flowers that not only can the chickens forage, but that will provide them shade, because it gets very hot and humid here. And so, you know, those are the types of things you have to think about with chickens. It gets hot, and they probably would rather be in the cold than the hot. So we have to really stay on top of them in the summer. We have a little shade cloth here, and on the other side as well. You just can't see it because there's no overhang like over here. But the shade cloth has been nice as far as shade, but there's still ventilation that gets through there. But I think going forward, we would like to just pay a little more close attention to, like, under the roosting box and having a poop deck, I guess. And also having permanent, I don't know if structures are the right word, but things that will, like, we can pull away or cover for, you know, different types of weather, such as the shutters, but being able to do that on the doors, and maybe like a permanent fan or heater in the coop. You know, there's so many options. I think you just have to look at your climate and decide for yourself if it's something that you might need for your chickens. And that about covers our chicken coop run and tour, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I hope you learned a little bit today if you are wanting chickens for yourself, or, you know, I hope it just inspired you to go ahead and do something that you've been wanting to do but haven't because you don't have your dream property yet. We don't have our dream property, but you know what? Homesteading was important to us, and we're just figuring it out and making do with what we have. I also wanted to share one more thing that we are wanting to do with the chickens, and that is to, I think they're calling it a chunnel. So I would love for them to be able to forage. Like, we have clover patches, and then we have weeds in the garden where I don't want weeds and all the things. I shouldn't say in the garden, but around the garden. And so a chunnel would keep them protected and in a specific area. And so that's probably our next step too. But I think that now about covers it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. If you liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. I share everything from homesteading to homemaking, just all the home things. So if that's something that you're interested in, I would love for you to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you again next time. Bye.